Don't forget to subscribe to this channel to reach 30,000 subscribers within 3 months. Thank you for taking the time to watch my recap. In the Demon King's palace, Bashubaza is doing his usual activities with his parrot. Then Zebentist entered Bashubaza's room and saw that there was a large crystal there. Bashubaza said it was a magic weapon that could combine various magic elements. Mithril is the main material for the manufacture of these items. If Mithril's power was mixed with some elemental magic, he would absorb it within the item. When there is a lot of magic power stored there, Bashubaza can use it to create a powerful explosion. With this thing, Bashubaza could become the greatest heavenly king. Bashubaza had already asked his subordinate for a large supply of mithril, so he should be able to store even more magic power. Then Zebentist reported that the mithril mine had suddenly been captured by the human race. Even the knockers so denied the words of Bashubaza's subordinate. Zebentist also tell Bashubaza that the Demon King called him because he wants to complain to Bashubaza. When Bashubaza confronts the Demon King, he is furious and torments Bashubaza with his powers. Bashubaza was too stupid to make such a useless thing. The Demon King had repeatedly warned him to stop the trash project, but Bashubaza ignored his orders. Even though the Demon King really wanted to enjoy mithril produced to taste, Bashubaza instead increased the search for mithril supplies. Even the Demon King was increasingly angry because mithril was no longer under the control of the Demon Nation. He asks Bashubaza to bow down to him and apologize until the Demon King is satisfied. Then Bashubaza forcibly lowered his pride and apologized to the Demon King. Afterward, the Demon King says that Bashubaza should ask Dariel for more help. Bashubaza's father could fulfill his duties perfectly thanks to the help from Dariel. Dariel is a quality soldier and very generous in carrying out any task. He is a reliable man, and he is very kind to everyone here. Unfortunately, Bashubaza had committed the biggest mistake of firing Dariel from the Demon King's army. Then the Demon King stops Bashubaza temporarily to make amends. He wants Bashubaza to self-reflect to be smarter in carrying out his duties. In Lux Village, Marika and Dariel are having a romantic chat under a shady tree. Marika was pleased and grateful because it was the first time she had seen a bustling village like this. Dariel said that adventurers and merchants would visit every day. Then Marika blushed while saying she wanted her future children to see a bustling village like this. Even though Marika wants to have many children, she will still serve her husband well as she is now. After hearing that, Dariel was confused by the meaning of Marika's words. So he replies to Marika by praising her because Marika was so great being able to do that at once. Of course, Marika blushed even more, and she said that Dariel must also be a wonderful father in the future. Then Marika wanted to say something to Dariel because she couldn't hold back her love. But suddenly, Dariel asked Marika's permission to approach Gashida as he was arguing with some adventurers. Marika had said there was a big party tonight for the Lux Village celebration, so she hoped Dariel would come home early. Marika was very sad because she didn't have time to tell her feelings to Dariel. In Dariel's mind, he could guess what Marika would say earlier. Those were terrible words for Dariel. Then Dariel calmed down Gashida because he was rude to visitors to this village. Gashida said he was angry that the adventurers from the neighboring town, Campbell, underestimated the strength of the adventurers in Lux Village so much. Then Dariel also introduced himself as a D-rank adventurer to them. One of the adventurers named Fitbiton, a B-rank adventurer, said that he knew there were only 2 adventurers in this Lux Village. He underestimated Dariel's strength since he was only a D-rank, and the Lux Village must have used a trick to get the mithril mine back. Fitbiton would take over the work in the mithril mine, and the Lux villagers would no longer have to run the place. He also wants Dariel to teach Gashida good manners, because he doesn't respect Fitbiton, who has more power. Upon hearing this, Dariel said that Fitbiton had failed to defeat the C-rank snake monster at that time. The monster suddenly fled to the forest area of Lux Village, and Gashida found it first. If Gashida didn't report that, Lux Village definitely has been destroyed, and the villagers would have been injured a lot. In Dariel's mind, he was deliberately defending Gashida like this. Then he asked Gashida to leave there, so there would be no further commotion. But suddenly, Gashida shouted to Fitbitin that Dariel had killed the snake monster alone, so Fitbitin doesn't have to brag about its own strengths. Everyone there was shocked after hearing that, including Fitbitin. They didn't expect that Dariel was still in D rank, even though he deserves to get in a rank for killing the monster. At night, the villagers party at Inbul's house to celebrate Lux Village's return to glory. Gashida, who was drunk, told Marika everything that happened this morning. Upon hearing this, Marika became furious and wanted to kill Fitbitin. Then Dariel hugged Marika to hold her back because there would likely be big trouble if she went berserk. Inbul calmed Marika because he knew every adventurer must be proud of their strength, so it was natural for Fitbitin to recognize Dariel for the first time. But Marika's heart was still hurt because Fitbitin had insulted her beloved husband. Then they started to change the topic of discussion to renovating empty houses in this village. Inbul said that it was a bit hampered for some reason. A few days later, Bisfrid from the Central Guild came to Inbul's house to talk to Dariel. Bisfrid begs Dariel to help him discuss with the Knockers. They hadn't wanted to listen to what Bisfrid had to say for weeks. The Knockers say they don't want to obey anyone other than Dariel's orders, even though Bisfrid had spoken kindly to them. Bisfrid was curious, why was it only Dariel they trusted? Bisfrid didn't want to force them and purposely asked Dariel for help today. Then Dariel made sense of the nature of the Knockers because they had been oppressed by the devils for a long time. Knockers have a hard time trusting people. Dariel also reasoned that the Knockers always obeyed his words because he had saved them. At first, Dariel was hesitant to accept Bisfrid's request. Then Dariel finally agreed to Bisfrid's request because he didn't want to force the Knockers. After that, Dariel met with Fitbitin and his friends. They were assigned by Bisfrid to guard this mithril mine for some time. Recently, the Demon Nation has frequently communicated with the Knockers and the Human Nation through the magic there. Before long, the Demon Nation communicated with the Human Nation again. In Dariel's mind, he recognized the sound and immediately went around the forest to meet them. After arriving there, it turned out that the voice was from Rizit, accompanied by other soldiers. Then Rizit immediately used his magic because the Demon Nation did not intend to go to war with the Human Nation. Rizit also told the soldiers to return to the base now. After that, Dariel called out to Rizit, and Rizit immediately hugged Dariel. Rizit said the Demon Nation's situation was chaotic without Dariel. Then they chatted for a while in the lake around the mithril mines. Rizit also felt guilty because, at that time, he insulted Dariel when Dariel had just been fired. Rizit actually wanted to greet Dariel as usual because many people used that sentence there. Then Dariel said that he didn't think about it anymore. He also told Rizit that Dariel was actually from the Human Nation. Then Dariel told what he experienced after being fired by Bashubaza. Rizit just found out that Dariel couldn't use magic while in the Demon Nation, because he came from the Human Nation. Dariel wanted Rizit to keep this a secret. He didn't want any misunderstandings or chaos. Now it was Rizit's turn to tell the situation in the Demon Nation. The soldiers become disorganized as Bashubaza fires Dariel. Even many important people were fired by that stupid Heavenly King. Everyone in the Demon Nation is uncomfortable with Bashubaza's behavior. In the end, the Demon King scolds Bashubaza for being too stupid. Rizit always came to the mithril mines because the Demon Nation wanted to apologize to them. Then Rizit asked Dariel to return to being a Demon King army soldier, but Dariel refused Rizit's invitation because he had been fired. After all, he was no longer needed by the Demon Nation. Then Rizit said that Doroy missed him very much and was looking for Dariel everywhere secretly. She wished for Dariel to return to the Demon Nation again. But Dariel still can't go back there because he already works for a family that has helped his life. Dariel wants to repay their kindness because Dariel is still alive today, thanks to them. Suddenly Rizit uses magic to lock up Dariel so he can bring him back to the Demon Nation. But Dariel can counter Rizit's magic, and he has the best solution for the Demon Nation.
お前ら、ミスリル買わない？は？
Dariel met Bisfrid to get to know Rizit, and Fitbitin was also there. Dariel reasons that Rizit represents the demon nation, and wants to buy Mithril from the human nation. The demon nation desperately needs Mithril for its purposes. Because of that, they would definitely want to reclaim it someday. Selling Mithril to the demon nation was the best solution that Dariel had thought of. The Mithril price that must be sold to the demon nation is 44 times the market price of the human nation. If Bisfrid agrees with Dariel's suggestion, the demon nation won't take over the Mithril mine because they already have enough supplies. Dariel also reasoned and slightly lied to Bisfrid that Rizit had come here alone. He risked his life to negotiate Mithril with the human nation. Then Rizit said that the demon nation must get Mithril as soon as possible. So the demon nation is ready to pay any Mithril price the human nation offers, as long as they get a reasonable amount of Mithril. It would be endless if the demon nation were to fight with the human nation again. Of course, Bisfrid was shocked after hearing that, but Fitbitin disagreed with Dariel's suggestion, and suddenly, he attacked Rizit, and Dariel managed to protect Rizit. Fitbitin will never trust the demon nation because they have taken so much advantage so far. Dariel is angry that Fitbitin is interfering with this conversation. Mithril's buying and selling solution is the best way to avoid wars that cause much death. Then Bisfrid was also angry because Fitbitin did not have the right to decide on the solution that Dariel gave.
では、詳細な取引の内容だが、まずは。
A few days later, the demon nation soldiers started transporting the Mithril that had been paid for. Rizit thanked Dariel because the demon nation could apologize directly to the knockers. Dariel was also grateful because he managed to find the best solution, thanks to Rizit coming to the Mithril mine. For Dariel, the demon and human nation were important now. Dariel was adopted by Bashibaz's father as a child, who raised him with great affection. If Dariel hadn't been adopted by him, Dariel wouldn't be alive until now because he is an orphan.
いつか種族とか関係なくみんなが仲良くなれたらいいよな。
A few days later, Bisfrid told Dariel to open a Mithril smithy. He had given Dariel a map of the location of the abandoned blacksmith's house. After Dariel arrived at the house, it turned out that Fitbitin was also assigned to supervise the new workers there. So, of course, Dariel is bound to get into a lot of trouble with the Fitbitin.
なんか始まってる。